I learned today weird shit that goes on in people's lives. I'm going on a small little tangent here. But I learned today that the guy in the hood who used to be the bully in the hood, where I grew up in Brooklyn, really big kid, just like a bear, who like beat the crap out of everybody. I caught his hands a few times. I learned that he got out of the hood, and now he lives in Colorado, and he grows a whole bunch of marijuana. Apparently, he's turned into this hippie, and I think it's the most magnificent thing I've ever heard. Not ever, but it's close. Welcome to Get the Strap. My name is Jay Cross, and Ethan Thompson, you're backstage, and for some reason you're in the comments. Snuck himself all the way into a regular cast member. Look at that. Hey, yo, long live the bad guy. Rest in peace, Scott Hall. Yes. Thank you for the memories, Chico. Look at that. You look clean as fuck. My haircut and shaved. Thank you so much. Jack Soaps, ladies and gentlemen. Big Mike Championship Belt Group. What's up, Jay? Thank you. What's up? Drew, what's going on? This show, man. So tonight we're gonna be talking about the WCW World Championship, 91 and 94. And a lot of people say 91 and 93, but it's actually 91 and 94. Joe Vatanza will fight anyone who would say otherwise. Nico, what's up, baby? How you doing? Before we do that, we're gonna have a special guest on here to talk to us. So before I do introduce said guest, this hobby, man, the fuck. I don't understand why people don't like peace and they don't let people just live. So on Bell Talk, I saw a post where a guy just asked, where can I buy, like, is anyone selling a WWE Oval Intercontinental Championship? The one Randy had, Van Dam. It's on the shop right now. We released a very good replica. And right away, the comments started. Why don't you just go on the shop? Why don't you just go on the shop? Why don't you? And I commented and said, God forbid that on a buy and sell group in a wrestling belt community, you ask if someone has a belt for sale that is available on a shop. What is the issue, man? Why does everybody want to go get some ass, man? It's not that serious. I don't understand why that'll bother people. I don't get it. We have the EWs of the hobby out of here. We got to stay positive, man. There's no need for us to be dickheads to each other, like at all. There is zero need for it. And Joe Richard today, who he's not everyone's cup of tea. But Joe Richard, normally I would say, hi, Joe, you deserve that. But Joe Richard today asked, Bret Hart, I think he's an overrated wrestler to be in the Hall of Fame. And someone direct messaged him, and Joe does his thing, so he really can't, be too shocked about it. But someone messaged him privately and told him that he was an idiot because he said that Bret Hart was overrated. Like, guys, this is supposed to be for fun. This isn't serious. This is not serious. Hi, Catherine. How you doing? Timothy, what's up, everyone? First time watching. Hello, welcome to the show. Mark Thomas, how you doing? So it's a weird time. People are weird in this. I'm getting it more and more that I'm ashamed to tell people that I collect belts because of the stupidity that people do. You stop that shit. And if people, like Platinum Source said, need a hug, well, you can always DM Mike Jones, who is always willing to hug people and tell you about your self-care routine. And Vinny, how are you? Thank you for the compliment, Mr. Richard. Some motherfuckers will take a bullet for Brett, I guess, apparently. And you know what's the crazy thing? I want to let you guys know before I bring my special guest on. Mike Jones, I don't know if people know that Mike Jones is the brains of all this. Mike Jones is the one that gives me the ideas of how to do all these different things. And right now, he for some reason wasted his money and is on at Impact. But he is literally monitoring the show right now and telling you to smash that like button, like, share, and subscribe. If you like the video, if you get some value from what we're selling you here tonight. He is at an Impact event, and he's still in the comments watching. He's probably counting how many times Ethan uses the word fuck, because YouTube limits us, I think, to like 25 per show. So that's the reason probably why he's here. So without any further ado, I am going to bring on the co-host of the Over the Shoulder podcast, which me and Vinny had the pleasure to be on. And he is also the head admin at Belts Addicts Anonymous, which your boy, for some reason, is a Hall of Famer on there, Mr. Rob Staniloff. Rob, welcome to Get the Strap, my friend. How are you?
Oh, no, I'm really, really good. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you so much for being on, my friend. You are just a ray of positivity in this madness that is, I know, right? When people tell me that I'm a positive, influence, I go, what the hell are you? Do you guys watch my anger and like how I get angry on camera? You do a magnificent job at that, and I do want to take the time personally here to thank you for doing that. I really do appreciate it, Rob.
No problem. No, I appreciate the kind words, Jay. Definitely.
So, my friend, you have the most beautiful belt setup that I've seen in a long time, and that background. Look at that. That's just beautiful. How did it start for you? How did you get this psychotic, makes no sense, just sitting there stuff like I have here? How did you get into it?
Well, I've been a wrestling fan all my life, but my wife, we call her Mrs. Head of the Table, got me back into wrestling. And it was actually a common interest between us two that I had no idea that she even liked wrestling. This was like 2 years after we were together. And we started watching wrestling, and I noticed the belts. And I was very, very, I was just questioning about the belts. So I went on Google. I wanted to take a look at them. And I came across 2 YouTube channels, WWE Fan Talk Show, KL Fan 93 Casey. Yep. And I learned more about the belts, and we were actually heading to a live event in June. And I said I wanted to buy a belt. I had no idea what belt I was going to buy. I got there. They were selling 2 belts. They were selling network logo WWE Championship, and of course the Fruit Roll Up Universal. I'm like to my wife, what do I buy? Buy the black one. So I bought the black one. And then as time went on, I wanted to get more belts. And I didn't want to spend a lot of money. But I ended up landing my second belt as the New Day tag for my second belt. And that was a heck of a rare belt at the time to land. And I started collecting belts. I met some people on Facebook groups. I researched those. So my whole display was actually in my basement. It was in my basement at one time, and people were checking it out. And I have my wife to credit for the whole display, because she had the idea of moving it up here and plastering them all over the wall.
And you guys did a magnificent job with that. You really did.
Oh, I appreciate it, Jay. I really do. I want people to see the collection, but the main item is when people walk in and they look at it, what are they going to catch their eye? They're going to catch their eye at the display, but I've been searching, like I said, for that Andre 87 for 2.5 years, and that's the whole background of my whole display. So I feel like having it all plastered on the wall, it gives it a nice effect, and I got a light thing to go all the way around it too.
Now, Jordan asked us here if we've seen the Brock Lesnar belt. I've seen it. Rob, have you had a chance to see it? That it's on sale? What are your thoughts on it? Undisputed V2 is my favorite belt. I have the shop version over here. What are your thoughts on it?
I don't know. It kind of looks like a tarantula. It looks like a tarantula. I mean, what is WWE Shop trying to prove here? I mean, they're coming out with these belts. Now, no knock against people trying to go in to get these belts. I don't have it. If you want to, definitely. I mean, I love the Undisputed V2, but a little overdoing it, I find, on how it looks. I mean, do I want a tarantula in my collection? No. I mean, I don't myself, but someone might. So I've heard mixed reviews, a lot more negative, though, because we did put it on Belt Addicts Anonymous, and people were commenting on it.
So Mark asked here, how long did it take you to accumulate your collection?
Yeah, so I've been collecting since June of 2017. So it's taken me a bit to accumulate them. So I was going more of WWE shop belts at the time. And then I met a couple of Canadian belt brothers on Belts of the North. And one of them in particular turned my eye to the Rarities and Figs Inc. And then it just took off from there. It was not a hobby anymore. It's an addiction.
Yeah. So I started buying more belts. I think it was a total of 3 back in 2014 when me and my wife got married. And in 2015, she was like, look, you like these things, obviously. Why don't you go and buy yourself some? And it became an obsession. You know, you and I come from that I would say that side of the hobby where you're looking for the rare finds. You're on eBay, you're in the groups, making sure that something up there pops up. Casey does that. Jocelyn, numerous others are always on the hunt. What has been the most rare belt, in your opinion, in your collection, that took you time to get?
Okay, so the one up in the case took me 2.5 years to find. Gentleman, and I give a shout out to him, Colin Sauve, ended up helping me find that. He had, I guess, 3 at the time, but he knew that I wanted that belt. He ended up landing one and then selling it to me. So that was actually a really hard one to find. However, it's actually not the most rarest belt in my collection. It's really a tie between my Ultra Deluxe Hogan 86 and my US Spinner V2, which is under 100 released.
Which has the nameplate on it.
Which has the nameplate. That's exactly it. So under 100 released.
So over the shoulder podcast, and I love that little tidbit, and because me and Vinny were on there, and I love that little tidbit of you put the belt over your shoulder. I love that. How did that come about? How did that idea flourish? And you guys said, you know what, we're gonna start a show.
Yeah, so I mean, I give a lot of credit to Max Rivera. Max is a genius when it comes to belts. He is definitely one of my closest belt brothers in the hobby. But how it really came about is that Max was a guest on Mike Morano YouTube channel, and he was getting interviewed, and then he introduced him to me, and we ended up both being on there. And we came up with the idea of actually starting it. So Mike Morano actually joined us for the Over the Shoulder podcast, and it was the 3 of us. He did a few episodes with us. Things just didn't work out. But then Max and I decided to take over just the 2 of us. We're both here from Calgary, Canada. We're both local. We've met up a few times, and It's something that we love to do. We just love to put the information out there about belts. We love to analyze belts. We love to give people the necessary info that they need or that they want in order to go buy these things. Because really what it is, Jay, is that when I started, I ended up finding those YouTube channels. I did, but there wasn't really a podcast at that time that actually gave me that info.
Good evening.
Yeah. And that gave me that info. So that's really how it came about. It came about with Mike Morano, and then Max and I just continued it.
And you're a rare breed in this hobby, because people get scared by charlatans and individuals who try to grandeur themselves. A lot of people don't know this, but Eddie Williams was an admin on Belt Addicts Anonymous for a very short amount of time. As soon as I saw that he was there, I messaged you directly. I said, Rob, listen, I'm going to step away from your group. And, just because of him, I don't want to be a part of anything that has to do with him where he's admin on. And a lot of people don't know this about you, but when he started to kick people off and go on his little tirades that he used to do, you put a stop to that immediately. You were no hesitation, no politics, no bullshit. You said, no, that's not what we do here. Do you think that the success of Belt Addicts Anonymous is tied to the fact that you guys just don't put up with the bullshit? And if you're going to bring problems to the group, it doesn't matter if you're admin, if we're cool, your ass got to go.
And that's exactly it, Jay. So Belt Addicts Anonymous was created on the intention of being a drama-free, nurturing environment for belt collectors of all levels to come and to show off their collections in a non-judging environment. Eddie Williams was part of our team. He wasn't an admin. We have a strict thing here that when anybody joins the team, they are not an admin right off the bat. They're a moderator to prove themselves and then eventually become an admin.
I stand corrected. Go ahead.
But when the whole thing went down with him being scammed, we ended up having a separate chat away from him, and we had to come together as a group. Belt Addicts Anonymous, again, remains neutral. However, we came together and we had several calls, all of us, except obviously for Eddie. And it was the decision. It was the decision that we will not put up with any bullshit in Belt Addicts Anonymous. Even if you are caught scamming on another page, it doesn't matter. You will be booted and banned from Belt Addicts Anonymous. Belt Addicts Anonymous, again, we have to create the safe environment. We're not just out for just a group. We're out for our universe. Belt Addicts Anonymous universe. That is why we're successful. And I credit all of our admins. We have now an 11-person admin team. I'm confident in any one of those individuals. I love all of them as Belt brothers. And we came together. We came together and we were recognized highly for it. We definitely were. When the whole thing went down with him, I mean, you guys were on there with Carmine, pounding the meat, and you guys presented it in a professional way. And as soon as that came out, there was a 3-hour live that Carmine did. His ass has got to go.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that part of the hobby, obviously, I find that there's two different parts of the hobby. I find myself where I'm in the middle, right? Where I am I'm in the thought process of, if I want a belt, I don't subscribe to what Dan says, where Dan says, look, you can't have everything you want in life. And I said, no, Dr. King didn't die for that. I want an IWGP V3. I want a, IWGP US that are not available replicas. I normally go for the replicas. I always tell people, go to the shop. The shop is always going to spoil you, right? So there's the bootleg side of the hobby. I'm kind of in the middle with the bootleg and the shop and the real. I'm kind of staggering in there. And mostly I want one on PTM, kind of goes on that line as well. What is your personal stance on bootleg? As I know, in Belt Addicts Anonymous, they are not allowed. Even when it's time to sell things, boots are only allowed to be traded.
Yes. Yeah. So when we founded the group, it was Casey, myself, and Jamie. We don't have one bootleg in our collection. The main item is, and we're not knocking against bootlegs, but our main position is that we find that when members order belts that are not licensed, they do not get exactly what they want. And that is some of the issue here. There's makers that cuts corners. We're not saying that the higher end makers are bad. We're not, like the Nawaz and ORM, I guess, and Classic Shields is the highest grade. But we take a stance on those, and we don't want any of those to be sold in our group, only to be traded. We originally weren't even allowed them to be traded. But again, we're trying to protect our universe from not getting exactly what they want. We have no problem. I mean, I can recommend Classic Shields. I don't have one boot. I don't. But, and as I was saying, as I was saying backstage about the Alondra Blaze belt, yeah, I can't get that on the shop. I can't. But who would I have that made? I'd probably go with Classic Shields on that. But again, our universe, we're protecting our universe. That's exactly it. Correct. You can show off your boot. We're totally fine. But sold, I'm sorry, it can't happen.
So Tim has a question here. Do you currently have a white whale, a belt that you are currently chasing right now that is figs?
Well, yeah, there actually is one that I might be able to land, and that is the Scratch Logo Intercontinental white version, because I have an IC wall here. Again, I go rare. I absolutely do. That'd probably be the only belt that I would be chasing.
Yeah, the white Scratch, I remember they had it on sale at one point for $199. And I said, I can get it down the road. And then it was gone. It was gone from the shop. Now, you and I know that the shop they're doing great re-releases of these belts. Especially like the championship we're going over today, the 91 and 94. It was just re-released, and they did a magnificent job. Mike Jones, our producer, normally he orders belts and he doesn't tell us that he ordered belts. Joey does the same thing. The difference is Joe Vitanza, he spends like 8 months researching the belt before he buys it. But it's coming out real good. I mean, I had a good conversation with Jones about the quality of these new belts when he received his, 91 and 94, and he said it's amazing. And do you think here's my concern, and not really a concern, but do you think it's going to affect the figs market when they're re-releasing much better quality I know the fixed stamp is on the back. That is important to guys like you, to guys like me. We value that. The fact that I sold some of my belts and got money that I never thought I would get for them. Not one of those belts that I sold, Rob, sold for less money than I bought it for. And people did not hesitate for it. But do you think that coming out with the re-releases, is that affecting the market value of the figs?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, not on the WWF, obviously, but on the WWE versions. I mean, we can take another example here. We can even take that Ruthless Aggression Raw that they put out. I mean, that thing looks absolutely phenomenal. There are main differences on the SmackDown one that I don't like. You know, the white logo, not the black logo that they did. But that's exactly what people are going to think when they bring out those re-releases. They're going to be like, oh, well, you know, you're selling your figs, but I can just go to the shop and I can go get a belt. But the nostalgia factor is, where did figs come from? It's older. It is more rare. It absolutely is. But again, yeah, it is affecting the market. And we've had that conversation on Over the Shoulder podcast, Max and I, and we've been talking about that. Thicker plates, yeah. But again, I mean, for me, would I rather hang a figs ink on my wall or hang a shop belt? I'd rather hang a figs on my wall 100% of the time. But that's why I'm kind of staying away from the re-release ones that can be re-released. So I'm really just trying to go WWF or whatever. Like the scratch logo probably will not go back. Maybe it will. I don't think so. But that one probably will not go back on the shop because of the logo, the different logo now.
Yeah. And Rob, what's your answer to this? What's the most rarest figs belt, the Andre 87 or the UFC V3? I never had the 87, but I did have the V3. I sold it and I want it back. So I'm going to be looking around. There is someone, Ethan said, someone's selling it for $1,500. And I know that, to some people, that's going to be a lot. To me, that's reasonable. People are going to think I'm crazy, but the UFC V3, in my opinion, it's one of the top tier belts that figs made. What are your thoughts? Is the Andre 87 or the UFC V3 more rare?
Oh, that's really tough. We posted something like that on Belt Addicts Anonymous, and it was actually a mixed review on the most rarest belt because I actually wanted to know. Some people said Andre, some people said the V3. I've never owned the UFC V3. However, that belt is magnificent. The way it was made is absolutely beautiful. Do I see more Andre? Like, do I see more UFCs? I mean, I think it's a toss-up. I mean, I think they're both rare. I think they're almost like a tie. The Andre is extremely rare. It definitely is. But UFC V3 is also very rare. And can they go for the same price? They probably can. I mean, you can go for about $1,200 to $1,400 US for those belts.
And speaking of belts that go that high for price, I mean, the Master Series, everywhere that you go, people are going to praise the Master Series. Even the Spinner Master Series gets its due. Like, people think it's great. The line was such a well done line. Do you think that the shop is losing money just not having that, even if it is the block logo version? I would purchase it. I know a lot of people don't like the block logo, the Legends logo, but I would purchase it if it was, Master Series level. Do you think they're leaving money on the table on that?
That's a tough call. It definitely is. Master Series, I mean, phenomenal belt. But, I mean, I think that they could get away with putting it on. I absolutely do. Now, what price tag would they be putting it on? I mean, would they be putting it on at a $1,200 to $2,000? As we were talking about on Over the Shoulder podcast, we were talking about the Master Series, the one with the WWF. That right now, you guys were saying that it goes for $5,000 US. I mean, what are they going to do? Are they going to put a Master Series on and put the Legends logo and put $5,000 for that belt?
Well, $5,000 is the resale value that people sell it for. I think one of the issues with WWE Shop is that they're so disconnected from, because you, me, the guys backstage, everyone in the community, we're a small percentage of the people that buy these belts from the shop, that are buying these belts from. People are normally just buying it for nostalgia purposes. You have individuals who buy them just to relive the old days, get a Legends logo winged eagle, put it up, and oh my God, it's the belt. We're the ones that are picky, So that's also an issue there, that that the connection is not there with us asking for these certain things. Now they're covering the back, right? The 91 and 94 WCW has the back covered. The dual plated winged eagle that I proudly own, and it's displayed in my bedroom while I make sweet love to my wife. It's magnificent. But do you think they're improving on that quality just with all the small little details that you have seen? Do you think is an improvement, and do you think there's much better things down the road from the shop?
Yeah, and we were talking about that. I absolutely do I do think that they are improving. Their plate thickness. I mean, yeah, Figs 2 millimeter. They're going, more thick, right? On some of those other belts are like 5 to 6 millimeter plates, so they're really improving on that. The quality of the straps are probably better than what Figs put out. Absolutely, those straps were not that great. The etchings are a lot better. The detail on the plates is a lot better.
Crazy.
It is crazy. Now they definitely have stepped up their game. They absolutely have on some of these belts. It's phenomenal how they do look. And I mean, we can even say, like the McMahon family crest on the Big Eagle. Like, I mean, that one. I mean, it's more detailed. It is, but I think that they definitely are stepping up their game, and I think we're going to be seeing a lot more things from them. But again, I don't know if I would be going shot myself. I'm going to be just trying to go all Figs Inc.
And here is a question from Hobo and his stick. Is that a Figs WWF light heavyweight? Do you want to tell the story of that light heavyweight, of who owned it before you and who owned it before that person?
Of course. So yes, that is a 2001 Figs Inc. light heavyweight, and I'll tell the backstory and how I attained it. I ended up posting something on Belt Addicts Anonymous about my top 5 belts. That was in there. Shout out to my fellow belt brother, Kevin Very, who had this belt. And the backstory is Kevin bought it off of Jay. So this was Jay Cross's belt. And it's in magnificent condition, Jay.
He is such a sweet guy, man.
He is.
Really is. I even have him as a friend. Like I have you on friend on Facebook. I have him as a friend as well. He is a really sweet guy, and he's just always on the up and up. And I do really appreciate it. Shout out to Kevin from us here. Rob, final questions for you so that we move on to the WCW World Championship. Is there any new concepts or ideas that people should be looking forward to from Belt Addicts Anonymous?
Yeah, and we're always trying to be new and refreshing content. So what we would love for everybody to do is to come and join Belt Addicts Anonymous, because some of the things that we have there, what do we have? We have a Hall of Fame, we have Belt Addicts Awards, we have Winner's Choice events. We are continuously coming up with new concepts to have us stand out from everybody else within a respected belt community. And Belt Addicts Anonymous has been, well, we've been in operation for just over a year, and we have about 2,140 members in 1 year.
Wow.
The admin team that we have is second to none. I'm confident in all those individuals. I co-founded the group with KL Fan 93 Casey and Jamie Gilbert. They're my belt brothers for life, those guys. And we just kept growing and growing and growing. So we keep coming up with new events. We've even done free belt events. We've done free events for people because we want people who can't really necessarily afford belts to have the opportunity to try and win a belt. And that's what we try to do. We are trying to be there for our members. So we would love for everyone to come and join Belt Addicts Anonymous. Just a thing, though, answer all the entry questions to get approved and come enjoy the ride of your life. This is a growing empire. I'm very happy to have these guys as my family, my belt brothers for life. Exactly. I mean, you're a Hall of Famer in there, Jay. You absolutely are. There are a few, and a few other people on Pounding the Meat are Hall of Famers. We're happy to have everybody here, but so just look out for us because I mean, we're going to surprise people. We absolutely are.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much, my friend. Rob is going to come back for our overtime segment. Rob, let's put you backstage, and we are going to bring on the group for the WCW Championship. But before, again, if you like what you see, if you enjoy it, if you get good information out of this, because all we want to do is give you information. No one on the screen has a vested interest in you buying a certain belt. We just want to make sure you get what you want and what you deserve for your hard-earned money. So let's get this shebang started. First, one of my cousins, 3 times removed, Mr. Ethan Thompson.
What is good?
How you doing?
Good, baby? Dude,
I feel like I haven't
living.
seen you AD Terry, that's right, baby. Exodia, the forbidden one, bro. That's right. Ethan, I haven't talked to you all week. How you doing?
I'm fucking worked all week, bro. I'm tired. It's Friday. I'm good now though. It's fucking Friday.
Have you noticed that we're always in the good mood on Fridays?
Bro, you grind all week. What do you grind all week for? To get to fucking Friday night.
We're always in a good mood on Fridays. Platinum, bro. No, bro. I'm always styling and profiling, kiss stealing, weaving dealing.
I would have had boxers on, bro. 100%.
Woo, baby, bro. I just realized my cat's in here. You chilling, bro? I bet. Listen, so you have a belt coming? Did it come today? Did it not come? What is it?
It did not come. FedEx lagging a little bit.
Okay, we need to. You know who we need to talk to? Roy.
Yeah, Roy. I mean, you flossed in the Rolex, but your shit was paid for 3-day delivery on Tuesday, and it won't be here till the following Tuesday.
Bro, I love
some explaining to do.
I love me some Roy Wilson, bro. I love me some Roy. Let's bring on the biggest bully in the world, Joseph. Joey, how you doing, bro?
I'm doing fucking great.
Is that the All Elite Bay Shirt?
It is.
Hey, we're here for the good times, bro.
We are.
It's fun. Joey, you working tomorrow?
Yeah.
Damn, you always fucking shit up.
Right?
Damn, man.
What kind of life you living? You working on a Saturday?
I'm sorry. Sports teams. I'm sorry.
Sports teams. I work for sports teams, so I gotta work Saturday.
I blame FedEx. I can't get my belt today. It was supposed to be 3-day. Quit your crying. People are working.
Are you gonna get it tomorrow, or you have to wait till Monday?
Tuesday now. Tuesday.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Luckily, the person I bought it for was nice and tried to get it to me, but
that shit's lost, man. If it's gonna be delivered Tuesday, that shit's lost.
It's all right. I got PayPal, bro.
So we're gonna bring on a good friend of the show, the host of the Pods That Rock podcast, a good friend of mine, Mr. Jameson Bennett. Jameson, how are you, baby?
Doing good. I'm getting the strap, man.
That's right, bro. Look at you, man.
You know what?
Is that the Shield?
The Shield?
No. What is that? Who is that?
Kevin Owens, Aleister Black, and John Moxley.
Very nice.
Yo, Jameson gonna get ready to tell us a spooky campfire story, bro.
Now, Jameson is in the deep heart of WCW territory, Georgia. Now, Jameson, basically, you're the one guy that has lived this. That the Southern wrestling. That Joey's always been in the Northeast. Ethan is still stuck in the 80s. You are the WCW guy, and I know you were an Attitude Era WWF guy, and your dad was a WCW guy. And how was that for you during the night? Do you even remember that?
There were many arguments, from what I can remember, over the remote, over if Goldberg was coming on next, or if DX was coming on next, or Mick Foley, because those were my guys on WWF.
Yeah.
But I grew to love some of the people. I mean, obviously I dressed as Sting from WCW for Halloween last year. I've done it a few times since I was a kid. But I also became a fan of DDP, one of my favorites.
Dallas Page.
What a time to
You
be
know
alive.
something, Jameson, I don't know about you. I know Ethan probably didn't like it. Knowing him, Ethan's very negative about life. I don't know why.
I'm not negative. I'm realistic.
Jameson, did you enjoy Ready to Rumble the movie? Because I did.
I loved it.
You did? I thought you was talking shit about it, Ethan.
No. I love that movie.
Jameson, I know Jameson liked it. Jameson has class.
Bro,
Joey, did you like it? Joseph, did you like Ready to Rumble?
Hell yeah! I went and saw it in the movie theater.
Bro, we have such few wrestling movies. You can't help but enjoy your wrestling movies. Sorry.
I thought it was decent. So, WCW World Championship 91 and 94. Joseph, why is there the misconception that it's a 91 to 93?
Because people are not that bright. Because people think when Flair won it in '93 Starrcade, they think. But they forget that it was used in '94 when they combined that title with the Crumrine, which was called the International, whatever, title, and they combined it. But you know what's crazy about this belt? I said it yesterday.
No, don't, Brian.
This belt was created, the 91-94, because Ric Flair went to the WWF and had the Crumrine with him. And WCW. Duarte, come on.
Duarte,
you're going to get a message from me.
Man? You're on YouTube, bro.
Bro, it's Friday.
Facts.
But what's crazy about the belt is, like, Ric Flair, when he took the Crumrine to WWF, he had the deposit down for the Crumrine. When you're a champion, you put the deposit down.
How much was the deposit?
I think it was $250,000, if I'm not mistaken.
And keep the fucking belt.
Nah, it was 40. It was like 40. It wasn't. 250 in the 80s was absurd. I want to say it was like 40.
It may have been 25 or I don't know. I forget the number. But so WCW's like, yo, send the belt back. And Flair's like, I'm not sending the belt back. Pay me my deposit. And they said no, so Flair kept the belt. But the crazy thing is, so this belt was created because Flair left. Okay, Platinum, yeah, $25,000. Ric Flair, this belt was created because Flair left. Flair's also the last person to hold this belt. Goes full circle, if you think about it.
Very, very nice.
That's too, right?
So, what's that? The Vegas Big Gold.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I mean, kind of. I mean,
so here's the thing with the Vegas Big Gold. The Vegas Big Gold, Ethan, tell me the story of the Vegas Big Gold because it's tied to this 91 or 94. Why was the Vegas Big Gold? Jameson, thank you for bringing that up. Why was the Vegas Big Gold a thing?
If I'm right, it was because the 91 and 94 that belt wasn't done yet. They weren't sure they were getting the Crumrine back, so they were like, "Yo, let's just make something that looks the same," because they were getting sued, right?
Saying no. Joey's saying no.
Nope,
Joseph,
nope,
go
total
ahead.
wrong. The Vegas Big Gold.
Total wrong. Okay.
Because Flair had the Crumrine in WWF. Remember, he couldn't use it because of, they had to blur it out and stuff, and then he used the Money Inc. tags.
That's right. They used the real world.
So WWF was going to create the Vegas
Jesus.
Big Gold for him in WWF. So Flair took it to WCW, and it was only showed once. So it was in a segment in, I think, Fall Brawl. Yeah, Vegas Big Gold was a WWF belt.
Correct.
They created it for him.
Yeah.
And so when Flair took it to WCW, it was only used in one segment when him and Hogan was on the phone. They were like gonna fight it. I think it was Halloween Havoc with Flair's career on the line, and he had it like at Fall Brawl, sitting on a table in front of him when he's at like a restaurant.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
But
So-
the belt they used was an old Florida Championship belt because this 91-94 was not done
Right.
yet, and they just slapped a little solid gold piece on there that said champion, WCW champion.
So, Figures Inc. Joey, you got your first WCW United States
Yes.
from Figures Inc. What were your thoughts when you initially got the belt? Not the design. I'm talking play quality. You being able to look at yourself in that finish.
For me, man, I loved it. At $225 when I bought it, it was a steal. I mean, you're looking at it. I mean, you didn't worry if it was 2 millimeters, 2 millimeter, plates. You just, because it came in like a big box. I remember it because it was like flat.
Oh, they shipped it out flat. They didn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, mine did. From High Spots. Shipped in a big flat box. I remember I opened it up, unzipped the WCW bag, which I still have. Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember looking at that belt like, wow, just being enamored with it as my first wrestling belt I ever purchased. And I still have it to this day. Bought it in 2006, 2007.
It's still there, looking fresh and so clean. Jameson, you collect different things. You collect, NASCAR stuff. You got belts. You have a scratch WWE over Intercontinental there. My question to you, would you, hearing all the stuff, because I know that you watch the show, you're a big supporter of the show, would the Figures Inc. satisfy you as a collector if you said, you know what, I want this belt, my dad is going to force WCW down my throat, is this a belt that you would purchase?
I mean, my dad really wouldn't know all the specs like you're showing here, so it really it's like another language to him. But as long as he's happy with holding it, that makes him happy, you know, like that would be the only reason I would get it to make him smile.
To
Yeah.
make him smile and have him feel like he's part of your, you know, your inner circle, for lack of a better term.
Relive the heydays of WW or WCW. I'm about to say WWE.
Yeah, and it must have been hard for you as a kid, being a WWF kid, and the area you live in, Georgia, is WCW country. So I could imagine how that is.
I missed Mick Foley winning the title. I know that much.
Yeah, and it was you love Mick Foley a lot, don't you, Jameson?
Obviously, I do. Yeah.
My boy, Ethan, standard $2.99, deluxe $3.99, ultra deluxe $5.99. You're already cringing. Talk to me. Why are you cringing?
So now, are we asking this as in that time of availability, or are we asking this as 2022?
So that's the problem that I keep running into. Like I was talking with Rob, and Rob is so articulate when he makes it sound so smooth. I make it sound like shit, but it's fucking with the market, right? So yes. I can't ask you the question, what would you pick now? Because obviously you would go with shop.
But you have to ask. I think you have to ask at present day. I think that's the only fair way to do it.
Present day.
I have one on order from Classic Shields.
That's how we're gonna end the argument.
That's how you end the argument, because present day, like I know the people that appreciate the figs, and I get that, and I understand it. But to me, there was a post on, I think it was on Brothers or Belts of Brilliance, whatever. So when you hold these belts, when you see these belts, like you can hold a Shop Intercontinental and a Classic Shields Intercontinental, and one feels like a toy, and one feels like Rick Rude was shaking his hips or Warrior was flinging it around the ring.
So I think the issue we have here is time, right? When I first saw a replica was in 2001. One of my neighbors bought a scratch WWF Big Eagle, right? And I thought it was the most magnificent thing in the world. As a collector, as someone who, like Rob, likes to search for those rarities, I would still buy any WWF Big Eagle, any WWF branded belt. If I see it at a good price, I'll pick it up like that. But I think time becomes an issue, because back in the day, this was the best thing that you could get, right? It wasn't like you can go to Classic Shields like you're having, Ethan, and getting the belt that you want. And Joey, you have the WCW United States. Is it bubbling like this one was because this was my belt? I've sold it long ago, but does it have the bubbling? Because that's been a big issue with the figs. I haven't heard it from the shop. The bubbling.
No, I do not. I'm lucky on that one. I had the WCW television figs, and the bubbling led to cracking in the leather.
You got the cracks right there too.
And I sold it, I think, for over $200. It was in rough shape because the leather was cracking, but still good shape.
Jameson,
yeah.
Would you, if I were to gift you? No, I don't want to say gift because I want you to sacrifice something. If I were to gift you a belt that had that bubbling in the back, would you have an issue with it? I know you're too much of an easygoing guy, but would you have an issue with it? Having the bubble like that on the leather, or are you just the guy that loves his belts and just says, you know what, I'm going to display it, it's all good?
Okay, so if it becomes an issue in the future, we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah.
But, were you talking about between the main plate onto the left part near the side plate? Because I'm looking at it on my TV right now. I've got you on my TV. I see that being a little bit of an issue right now, appearance-wise, but
Jameson, I'm glad that you brought that up, because you bring up the you look at it and it's going to be a problem to you, right? And you'll cross the bridge as you get it. Who did he ever beat? Never beat Tugboat. That's kind of true. But 2 years is a long way for CS. But Jameson, and I'm gonna throw this off to Ethan, and I'm glad that Jameson brought this up. The way that it looks, figs, the leather may be crap when you hold it, but when you display it, Ethan, you can't. You're a snob.
Yeah. But I'm a snob, but it doesn't even display the way I want it to display.
Well, how the fuck do you want it to display?
I'm the antichrist to Rob. Because it just doesn't display. Like, I literally had 3 Classic Shields Intercontinentals and an American lined up. And then I had 1 Intercontinental from the shop. Bro, threw off my whole shit. It just throws it off. I just can't do it. Oh, it's cringe. To me, it's cringe. But I'm that guy.
Joseph, what is your problem with the tip? This one's all scratched up. Don't mind that.
Okay.
But talk to me about what your issue, because I found out things about belts, Ethan, that I had no fucking idea even existed because of Joseph Batanza.
No,
Joey, talk to me about this tip. What is your, because I know you, please don't go on a rant. Why don't you like the tip?
Because it doesn't have the WCW champion banner raised. It's supposed to have, the tip is supposed to have the relief piece that says WCW champion. It does not have that. So every time, I'm sorry if people are in this community, it drives me nuts if you have a WCW 91 to 94 belt and it doesn't have that relief piece on the belt.
But are you angry at the figs, or are you angry at when makers are able to do it? Because the figs came out with the plain. Speaking of the side that me and Rob come off, where we get the original figs, and we don't change the leather.
Yeah,
we don't go re-leathering shit. We don't go restore. No, that shit stays the way it is.
I think a lot of these makers copy off of the figs belts. To be honest, I think they see them and the shop belts and they go off of what that is, instead of like me. If I'm gonna see, like, if I order through a maker from like more than once, I'm gonna send him pictures of what the belt should look like. Like, I'll try to help him out. Like, hey, this needs to be like this, for future reference. I'm like, hey, let me see. Do you have any pictures of this sort of belt? And if he sends it to me, I'm like, okay, this needs to be changed. This just for future reference. If you make another one, just be aware.
So I'm glad you brought that up, because when you talk to a maker about a belt, I think it's very rare when you have people telling maker what to do with the belt. Right? Mm-hmm. This isn't a normal thing that happens. So I think it's a good thing. And this is to be a lesson to people that are watching, that are new in the game. And if you don't want to listen and you want to go buy Pakistan right away, and instead of going to the shop, you can tell the maker, listen, this is what I want. No, this isn't right. I make sure that those details are known, so that you don't pay for something that you're not going to be happy with, because that's the worst thing. Jameson, in your collection, do you have any figs?
No.
Have you ever had a figs?
Never even seen one that I know.
I'm going to send you a figs. Because, Jameson, there's one thing on this world that isn't more important. There's 2 things in this world that are important on our promise, and that's taxes, Mike Jones making sweet, sweet love to his wife while watching wrestling, and the stamp on the back of that Figure Zinc belt.
Okay? And that's Impact Wrestling.
And that is Impact Wrestling. Okay? Jameson, you collect NASCAR, you collect wrestling belts. If I were to say to you, Jameson, pick between this one that's 2 millimeter, but it is a figs, or pick the new version of the WCW Heavyweight, which I want you all to pause for a second and notice how Joe Batanza said he would be mad. He gets mad when they don't have the WCW Championship on it, but watch him bitch that it's not stacked later on.
But at least they tried.
Facts. Jameson, which one would you take? Would you take the figs or would you take this one with the 4mm?
I can see a big difference already just from the picture you put up, like just the main plate. And I'd probably go with the WWE shop right now.
Right. Because
Smart
one
man.
of the things that me and Rob were talking about, Rob said, and I agree 100% on this. When it's a logo issue, the WWF logo is always going to win out with figs. You still see you have the really nice WWE Big Eagle, which I'm actually thinking of buying myself from the shop. I'm gonna get the scratch. I got the scratch on order from Classic Shields, but that's the one I can't touch. I gotta put on white gloves. But one of the big thing is people are still selling these Big Eagles for Figures Inc. for $600, $700, $800, right? So Ethan, would you pay $399 for this? Or would you go with a figs that you know the resale value is going to be? And again, think about what me and Rob talked about. The market is being affected by that logo. That logo, it isn't like the WWF. It isn't like the Legends logo. You're getting the actual logo. Which one would you go with?
Well, there's two things. There's no chance in hell.
Being a snob, by the way.
Being a snob. Being a snob, there's no chance in hell I would pay for figs at this point when sky's the limit for WWF or WWE shop and the WCW logo. So there's just no chance in hell I would pay for figs. Two, it just looks way better.
Right.
100% better.
So I mean, $99. Don't we say this all the time? Don't pay full price for something on the shop. Always wait for a sale. This hasn't been has this been on sale yet? WrestleMania weekend is coming along. That's where
WrestleMania weekend.
Yeah. I mean, it has the 5mm main plate. The first side plate is 5mm. Second, and all these numbers that we got was straight from the shop. This is straight from the source, right? And it's a freaking decent belt. And I know people are always complaining. Carmine, that's the first fucking thing he always complains about. What does it take you to cover the backs? And he's fucking, I can't believe I'm saying this. He's right. Why does it take you so much? Why is it so bad to cover the back? Jameson, does it bother you that the back on certain belts, shop versions, and I know you've seen a lot of belts, you saw the WCW. Does it bother you that is not covered on the back?
What's not covered on the back? What do you mean?
The screws for the belt.
Oh,
so when you saw this one, right, and the screws are on there, right? Would you prefer it not be covered on the back?
I prefer it to be covered, just in case, like, say, I put it on, I don't want the screws to scratch or whatever. Are you talking about like a bulge?
The belt on the back. I mean, the screws are always showing, and again, one of Carmine's big things is that the screws are always showing, and on the back, and I'll show you this. So you see here, right? This is the figs. It has the screws on the back. With the new version, the screws don't show; they're covered. You know.
Oh yeah. No, that doesn't really bother me.
So can I add why I would? Can I add why I would prefer them to be shown?
Oh, that's a different take. Why?
Re-leathers, send-out straps. I like mine to be on real leather, send-out strap. But if I want to recoup my money, I can throw back on the stock strap, sell the belt. I'm not losing anything.
And Brian Allen is 100% right here. Every big show, they have a belt sale. So, Jameson, I don't want you spending... Before you buy a belt, Jameson, you call me, okay? I want to make sure you get the best deal that you can get.
You have to worry
so
about that
going back to this WCW World, I mean, I always say that the plates are clean. Joey, you remember that fucking picture I took one time with the softball? And I told makers, I dared makers to copy the reflection. What is it about the reflection for you that does it?
When you see yourself, it's the mirror finish. If you could see yourself in the plates, a clear mirror finish, you know it's good.
And that's the thing that Figs Inc., the shop, they always get right. And the detail here, Ethan, again, you're a snob. I really want to get you down to, you know what? No, since you're a snob, I'm gonna hook you up with QI Champ. QI Champ.
I'm not there, bro.
Sure
I'm not there.
There is someone in the comment section. Brian Allen, bring it home for the team. Tell me QI Champ is not the greatest of all time.
So
by the way,
QI Champ.
Hold on. That's a fucking joke. We're trying to be factual here. QI Champ is like literally the worst.
Trash.
He's a scammer, all this stuff. But me and Brian Allen have a connection that we believe that somewhere in there is a great belt maker. Ethan, go.
So my issue, Shop Figs Inc. belts in general, right? It was, like I said, there was a thread about it earlier. The artwork, the way it's presented, it's soft. The etching's soft. The artwork is it's soft.
Explain
There's
that.
no. It's hard to explain with. So it's very rolled edge. It's very clip art. It's not. I can hold on. I'm gonna. So I have a. I'll just pull out a belt.
Oh, of course.
You know,
Why
I'm
not?
just saying it happened to be, you know, but I'm just saying the artwork. You take an Intercontinental belt and you compare it to like a Classic Shields. The artwork, you have these ridges, you have these lines, you have these etching marks, you have this weight, you have this look, you have this feel. You don't get that with the shop belt. It's a toy.
So before I go into this, Jameson, I want to, because Jameson's my pet project. I want Jameson to be like the best at this when I'm done with him. So you see, like in the back, Jameson, where like the screws are not showing, and it's all nice and covered smooth. I don't know how long that takes or what the price is, but it does improve the quality of the belt. You get what I'm saying? So they cover the screws and the screws are not visible. However, Ethan is. I do have to agree with Ethan that fucks with you getting a send out strap that you can, and your belt, that's your what is it, the Vegas Big Gold, right?
Yeah, like you can't see them, you can see the leather that's covering the screws.
Exactly. And one of the things we're going to talk about when we move on to the Pakistani makers before Joseph Rotunda Jesus Christ, look at me, Joe Vitanza. Hats off to Joseph Rotunda for helping Carmine out. I'm glad that he gave him some good advice this week on some personal things that Carmine had going on. But Joey, because I know you're gonna get angry at this, please try the minimum because there are probably new people watching. Why does this belt tip bother you? Even though you said that the figs didn't have it, but this one has it. What's the issue here with the WCW Championship?
Hold on, are you sure that's a right belt from the shop?
That is, it's just stamped in. It's stamped in. It's not a relief piece. The actual one on the actual belt was a full relief piece to sit on top. What they did was they just etched it essentially into the
How much money does that take, Ethan? How much money are they losing if they were
you're talking
stack it?
cents.
So Joey, do you think that that's an issue with just them just trying to streamline it, or what?
Oh, yeah, they're going the cheap route, you know. I mean, if they could just get it right, not laser engrave it, get it perfect, be all set. Oh, man, I hate that.
Joey, when are you going to tell somebody about you and your wife? You someone. Who is this?
I don't even know. Probably a scammer. Probably maybe EW making fake accounts. I have no idea.
Damn it, man! What? Why do this, bro? Listen,
Never heard of that person in my life.
Joey. I have to ask you. QI Champ is only good to mess with verbally to have fun. And I sent him voice messages complaining about my day. It's fun. Brian Allen, I tell you something. I had a dream once that I was in New York looking out for Brian Allen. I literally had the greatest time. It was like a fever dream. Hey, Jameson, your dear beloved is here supporting you, my friend. That's beautiful. Catherine, thank you for watching. We do appreciate you. So WCW, again, 91, 94 from the shop. I know Wayne is happy with it. I know people that love WCW. Jameson as well, all love the WCW 91 and 94 from the shop. If I were to buy it I'm not going to be like Ethan. I am not going to go to Classic Shields and get it from them. I'm going to go with the shop. Now we're going to, Jesus fucking Christ. Now we're going to go on the bad side of things. I want to be very clear, and I'm going to put myself in full screen because it seems like this is an argument that a lot of people go with when it comes to trying to like separate people and make like people look like shit. No one here has a problem with you buying these belts. If that's what you choose to spend your hard-earned money on, perfectly fine. Okay. Vinny Vegas buys lingerie for men all the time. Who am I to judge? I have my own problems. Okay. So if you want to buy these belts, go ahead, but understand the quality that you're getting. Understand that if something happens, emergency happens for us all. None of us are rich. If something emergency happens and you have to sell that belt, what you're going to get is much different than what you think it's valued for, right? So have that in mind when you are, thinking of these things. Do I get one of these belts? Do I get a, Ethan, what belt would you get if you were brand new? Would you go to the shop or would you go to eBay?
I'd go to the shop.
Tell me why.
Logical first place to look. Just honestly, you can look at eBay. You can just comparatively see. So what some of these crafty dudes do on eBay is the first pick or the second pick, they'll sneak a good picture in of some other belt. Then it's like 5 pictures of the same shit belt they're selling.
It's funny that you say that because you know how many makers and sellers on eBay had the same belt on there, the same pictures, like 10.
Yep.
Jameson, you collect NASCAR cars and you see 2 different hobbies. You see people getting belts from, good makers, bad makers, and you see people getting. What has been your experience in the NASCAR area where, again, you're not in the belt community, but you're still dealing with scammers and things like that? What's been your experience?
Well, in NASCAR hobby, we don't really have a maker to go to. Is the big difference. We
Yeah.
go by, even on the boxes I have, I'm sure it even says on the bottom, it says Lionel, but you can't really see it because it's all gray.
Mm-hmm.
Lionel makes the newer ones. The old ones are all action racing. So I think this is action racing, this Dale Jr. Moxley, either lay down or stand up. Let's see. Yeah, this is an action racing collectibles. But they're all basically good quality for the most part, except like I just got this one, this Gravedigger one.
Mm-hmm.
And I know good quality, bad quality. Only problem I have is this. Why is the spoiler moving on a brand new car?
So it's an issue on every. I would say, and I hear this from other people who are in different things. You have quality issues also in your NASCAR groups, right?
Yeah. And you mentioned scammers. I don't know if I want to put the price out there of how much I've had swindled from me, but
no, go ahead. I mean, we need people to understand that it's not just in our community; it's also everywhere. You have to be informed about the things that you buy.
Well, I was trying to get like this set of junior cars. I was trying to get some Dale Junior cars, 3 of them, and the guy's like, "Okay, $65. Send me your PayPal, and we'll get this set up." I sent him the money. Friends and family, watch your ass on that. Because I lost mine that day. The guy stopped messaging me after about a week of me trying to get a hold of him. Like, hey, do you have the tracking info?
Yeah.
Nothing. I also found that was 65 on that one. The only other time that scanned was a Jeff Gordon from 2008 Pepsi Challenger special paint scheme. You can't find it for anything less than $200. They said there's no box, $85 shipped. We'll do that. I was like, he might not know what he has. So, I figured I'm gonna be smart about it. I can trust this guy. He's being honest with me.
Yeah.
No, he never shipped me the car. I lost 85 on that one. So
it's something that has to be looked out for, not just in every single. I'm talking Power Rangers. I'm talking NASCARs. I'm talking everywhere.
Really?
And you lose hard-earned money, right?
Like the only hobby I've had no problems with is collecting records. Because
Jameson found the key.
You know, I found the one hobby I can't get scammed in unless I go on Marketplace or whatever.
And just give away your money, right? Ethan, this belt that you have right here, and it's I think it's a problem that we're not going to get away from 100%, because Jameson saying his experience with NASCARs, and we've seen the experiences with in the hobby. $250, that's groceries, that's a light bill, that's bills, that's money that's going to hurt you if you're living paycheck to paycheck. Would you pay $250 for this belt?
No, not at all.
But anything, it's 4mm brass, bro. No. And you got it in 2-3 weeks.
No, I'm good.
Joey, please, before you don't go crazy on the leather. Joey, what are your thoughts? Just remember, 25 fucks. Oh, so that's 22.
I know about eBay because before I got in the community, my first belt boot I bought was on eBay. It was a wing.
No, Joey.
Yeah.
You bought a boot off Ethan, don't lie. Did you buy a belt off of eBay?
I didn't.
Jameson, have you ever bought a boot from eBay?
I never bought a boot in my life.
Not fantastic. Okay, Joey, go ahead.
So the seller, said it was 4mm zinc. I'm like, all right, cool. It was like $150. I didn't know no better. I bought it. I got it, and I'm like, man, this ain't 4mm. This is more like 2, and it was, just bad. So I go to return it, and the dude, he goes, hey, I seen you set up a return. I'm like, yeah, you lied. You said it was 4mm, man. This is not 4mm. These plates are thin, man. These are like my figs, US, plates.
Yeah.
He goes, man, I'll give you $30. I'll give you $30 back if you keep it. I'm like, no, this belt's shit. I'm like, I'm sending it back. He goes, can you send it to a different address? I don't live at that address no more. I'm like, nope, that's not my problem. You're the one that provided this address to eBay.
Facts.
So that's when I returned it, and I went to shop and was like, I'm going to go the safe way.
Right.
But this belt, no, not for $250, because, looking at that leather cut, oh, it's so bad. But in this community, you can find a maker, one of these low-end makers, people that buy from low-end makers, that will produce a belt at $250 10 times better than this.
100%. Jameson, I know you have limited experiences with belts, but with the belts that you have, compare this to this, because I know the belts that you have better leather than this. What are your thoughts when you see this and you look at your Vegas Big Gold? What's the difference?
Well, I see what Wayne pointed out in the box of doom there.
The what? Say that again.
The box of doom.
We're gonna start saying that, the box of doom, because I do have to agree. The box of doom seems to be everywhere when it comes to eBay.
He said that when I whipped out my Precious here, because it has it.
Agreed.
Right there on the strap on my Intercontinental.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the definition of low quality, I'd say, because you don't even see the shine on the side plate.
Ethan, look at that, Ethan.
I'm a noob, and I'm catching on a little bit. But no,
it's pretty, bro.
You know what I'm tempted to do, Jameson? I am tempted to contact Classic Shields, right? And tell them, look, I'm gonna pay for Ethan's entire belt. Send it to Jameson. And I'm gonna buy Ethan this one and send it to Ethan. Just so, and I'll tell Ethan, you gotta hold off. You gotta hold off. Let's do it get the strap, and you're gonna open it just to see him lose his.
How about this? Mind. How about this, Ethan? We send you this belt.
I don't want Jameson to spill Mountain Dew on my fucking belt.
Hold on. We send you this belt. We send you this belt. Jay pays off your CS, okay? And he gets the belt. We send you this belt. You got to display it in your detail for a year. If you do that, we'll buy you a classic shield.
Bro, I'll just buy another.
I'll throw in a second one.
I'm not hard up.
So, and you have all these. One things I do have to say is that there are differences between the low end quality makers on Facebook and the low end quality makers on eBay. There's a big difference, right? So the one before, they had the padded back. They have that padding, that weird padding in the back. But here is a maker that Mike Jones. This is Mike Jones' thing. Everybody needs to stop sleeping on the Nawaz, right? That's Mike Jones' thing. Stop sleeping on the Nawaz. And Matt Morabito was kind enough to loan these pictures to us.
Oh, must be nice.
Nawaz championship belts. Now it's dual plated. It's different than what it was, but I mean, $340 for your gold, $370 dual plated, medium quality because you don't get the full. There's a difference here. His plating, Ethan. I got the IWGP United States, and you guys know how thrown back I was of that when I got it. Would you pay $370 for this belt, 4mm zinc, stamped, mid-quality leather? Jones says his leather is hit or miss. Jones is very honest, doesn't bullshit you, it's hit or miss. Either one way you're going to get it here. And I think that little bit, and you correct me if I'm wrong, because again, you're a snob. Does that little bit right there, if he fixes that little bit with the leather, is he off to the races to overcome ORM?
100%, because plates to... Well, let me first thing. I wouldn't buy the dual plated. I hate the dual plated version.
Okay. But all gold, yes. Again, can you... It's Friday. Can you
I know, but I'm just... Yeah. I got to clarify. Yes, if he fixed his leather and got his leather a notch better, because of the price that his competitor, I'm not going to mention his name yet, has really put himself at, plates to plates, he makes as equally as good of a plate as his competitor at a very lower cost than his competitor.
David, I have no issue with your belts being boots. I have boots myself. Let me go on a little thing here. I'm gonna show you one of my favorite belts in my collections, ladies and gentlemen. When I first got it from Carmine, and it's been documented. Me and Carmine have our fucking issues because he tends to be a jackass most of the times. But it's like I tell him, stop playing a fucking character and be yourself, and people will love you. But I got an IWGP US from him, and then I got an IWGP from Nawaz. And my friends, there is nothing wrong from you going to these people and getting yourself a belt like this. There isn't anything. I have no issue with that. An issue I never have an issue with anyone getting a belt that they want, a belt that they feel like it's good to have for their collection. My only issue, and Joseph can tell you otherwise, Ethan can tell you otherwise, Jameson has heard me rant about it. My only issue is when you start comparing said belt that doesn't have the mirror finish where you can see your face, that doesn't have the good quality leather, doesn't feel like it's shiny, or like Jameson said, the box of what is it? The box of doom? What is it?
Box of doom.
That doesn't have the box of doom, and they actually put work into it. My issue is when you tell people that belt is the same quality as your classic shields, as your ORMs, as your Nawaz. I don't have an issue with that being a part of your collection. And platinum shields, I do have to say, you prefer Nawaz for my SD belts, and I think there's a general consumption with the Culture Shock crew, Ethan, Joey, and I'm gonna ask Jameson after, but there's a consensus about Nawaz being your standard, your SD maker to go to. It's $340 for the accurate all gold that you're gonna get. Joey, did you get one from him?
I do. I have the all gold.
Talk to me your thoughts on it. How does it feel?
It's great. My time frame was only 3 months. He told me 3 months. I ordered it in September because when Marabito got his, he showed me it, and then he showed me the belt tip. So I'm like, cool. So hit up Nawaz because first time I messed with him, I asked him what he had in stock, which you never do that. because when he says he has stuff in stock, he literally has belts in stock. He'll send you 20 pictures. And he sent me a belt. I bought a belt from him that he had in stock. He shipped it 2 days later. So I wanted to get this belt from him. So I messaged him like, hey, I want this. He's like, all right, 3 months. Cool. Ordered it in September. It's $340 for the all gold. Now he charges $10 for the tip. For the WCW champion to be on the tip, it came out to be $360. So I paid it. He sent me plates of it being etched. Sent me like final pictures. Got it. I like it. I will get it re-leathered, but to me, he does. For the price point, yes, exactly. I have that. For the price point, what you pay, there's no other SD maker that can compare to his price point and his plates.
Do you like the WCW tip, because that's your biggest fucking thing?
I do. I love it. I actually bought another relief tip from another person in this hobby to have as an extra. Because I'm going to get this belt re-leathered. So
who's going to re-leather your belt?
I usually go to CBC re-leathers.
Nice. Very, very nice. Now, oh me. If you didn't know, Omi likes airplanes. I love airplanes. Jameson, you've never been on an airplane. I remember that from our conversations. You've never been on an airplane.
I'm glad you remember that. No, I haven't.
We're friends. Of course I remember it, Jameson. So one of the first things I'm going to do because I'm moving down to North Carolina, is actually go surprise and visit Jameson. I'm going to do a secret squirrel thing with his girlfriend, Catherine, and I'll surprise him somewhere. But you'll never know it's coming, Jameson, so don't worry about it. ORM belts. I am going to go to Joey.
Yes.
Because you had a positive interaction with him.
Yes.
I honestly think, and there are people that I know, really good friends of mine, that have had several issues with ORM on a personal level. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to give that person, who's a good friend of mine, who doesn't know that I think so highly of him, and I want him on this show, and I'm going to leave his name out of it until he comes on and speaks for himself. But I think that if Omi had a good PR person, he would conquer the fucking world. But Joey, explain to me your situation with ORM belts, with a belt that you ordered.
To me, I think ORM makes the best UFC Super Fight 5 belt. And that's the one I wanted. And so I hit them up like, hey, how much for this? Well, they were running a sale. Let me tell you this. This is hilarious. They were running one of their sales. So I hit up one of his middleman. I don't know if they're middlemen, they're whatever, salesmen, whatever they are.
And they're good guys. Let's be real. They're
some are, some the other ones are blind. But I don't care if they hear that or not, but it's the truth and they need to know it. They're yes men. One's a yes man, the other, not bad. But they were running a sale, so I hit them up like, hey, how much for this belt? He's like, he gave me this price. I'm like, all right. Well, let me hit up Orm himself. Because I hit up Orm, I'm like, how much for this price? He gave me a price, and I'm like, all right, be honest with me. How long will it take? He said 6 months. I said, cool, no problem. I never asked him for updates. And he would send me the updates himself. And I never asked him like, hey man, do you have an update or whatever? He would send me pictures of the belt and he goes, hey, do you have a WhatsApp? I'm like, no, I can create one. So I create a WhatsApp and he video called me.
14 months.
For an SD belt.
Sorry.
Buy American, bro.
Sorry.
Hey, Richard, I have a tag in the mail.
Sorry, Platinum, that happened to you. So Orm video calls me on WhatsApp and he shows me the belt and says, hey, I'm shipping it out tomorrow. Cool. And he sends me the tracking. It was exactly 6 months. So I mean,
So-
I don't have a problem with Orm. I get along great with Orm. The price is at $750. That's, I mean, I can't justify that.
So here is where I go with, with Jameson, because again, Jameson brings a very different perspective than everyone else. Jameson doesn't just subscribe himself to the wrestling belt game. Jameson also goes in different. Jameson, we've shown you several different belts.
Mhm.
If you had the money and you had to, have a budget, all these different things, think of the logo. The logo is exactly the same. The only thing different is the thing that Joey bitches about. Well, not the only thing. Joey bitches about the stacked WCW logo on the nameplate, and the leather is different. But keep this in mind, my friend. It displays well when you put it up. Would you pay $750 for this, or would you go with the shop for $399?
I'd go with the shop over this because I mean, I want more bang for my buck. I want that $400 sitting there waiting in my bank account versus, hey, this belt looks really cool, right? Because it's a little bit shinier.
That's true. And here's the thing that I do have to say about the shop. Here's a little insider detail. I've learned that with the shop, if you're on Eastern Standard Time with me, Joey, and Jameson, I don't know about Ethan because Ethan's all the way on the fucking other side of the world. If you order before 1 p.m. on Thursdays with the shop, and you pick overnight shipping, which Joey would not, he would not do that. But I know me and Jameson would, but if you put overnight shipping, you get that shit the next day at 8 a.m. Like that. It's amazing. It's wonderful. Okay, Ethan Thompson. Ethan.
No habla.
I'm laughing because Ethan, look.
I already know where this is going.
No habla.
Ethan. I'm gonna try and walk you through this.
You have the most Orm belts out of all of us on screen. Orm, come on,
And I'm selling them.
This is all you.
So I'm gonna.
And I'm selling them.
And here, like here's the thing. 3 months. He says 3 months. Yeah.
It's full of shit.
3 months to shop Rob. I love Rob because Rob is like, nah. You know what's one thing I found hilarious about Rob and amazing at the same time? He's such a sweet guy, but he's so in your face. Yo, this is it. I'm sorry, but I'm calling you out. I'm telling you how it is, and that's it. I love that about him. Ethan, can you justify?
Nope.
No, can you fucking let me? Can you let me finish the question?
Sure, go ahead.
Ethan, Ethan, one thing I love about my friends is that my friends protect me from everything in the world. And my friends were angrier at Omi than they were, than I was when he, told me 3 weeks for a belt, and it was like a year and a half. So in stock. And it's not like ask Mike Jones. Mike Jones has, because Mike Jones. Let me tell you a little secret about Mike Jones. Mike Jones tells his wife that he wins a whole bunch of fucking raffles. She doesn't watch this, so it's okay. It's between you and us. He tells her that he wants a whole bunch of raffles, and that's how he gets his belts. It's not true. So Mike Jones knows the quality of belts, knows how to get them. And even Jones normally doesn't get pissed off, right? When Jones gets, when it has to get to a certain peak for Jones to be pissed off. And Jones was tight, right? Vinny, it takes Vinny a long time to get pissed off. Vinny is like David Johnston, where he doesn't get mad. When he gets mad, you're like, oh shit. And Vinny was tight that I waited so long for a belt that was in stock. Jones has lost so much money to Nawaz because Nawaz says, yeah, it's in stock. And not 3 days. I say like a week later, Jones has the belt.
That's my fault. Because I told
and
Jones,
that's Joey.
I told Joe because I messaged
and
Nawaz.
I turned them both on Nawaz.
Well, no, I give it to James Taylor because James Taylor turned me on to Nawaz. Because I messaged Nawaz like, "Yo, what do you have in stock?" And he had a belt I was looking for, and I showed Jones, like, "Hey, Nawaz has this picture. He has this belt that you were looking for." I'm like, "Message him, see what he has in stock." And Jones did that twice, and Jones is like, he must know what he knows what's in my mind. Like, Nawaz automatically knows what belts you want, and he sends you pictures.
The funny thing is getting the text message from Jones like at 7 a.m, because we have our culture shock chat, and Jones just says, "This motherfucker," and just sends the picture. It's like, oh shit, Jones won another raffle apparently. So I got a really good picture from David Dixon about his collection. Ladies and gentlemen, I do have to say here, because people have been asking me about this. The gold standard is being worked on. Season 2 has taken a whole direction of his own. Thank you to Ethan Thompson. So David Dixon, I will be reaching out to you to put you in the gold standard when that time comes. Once Get the Strap ends for season 2, because the dynamic has changed, the structure has changed. Thank you to Ethan Thompson. Jameson, you're raising your hand.
It'll be the shortest episode ever. Can I be on?
No, absolutely not. Listen, do you think, Ethan, because I know we just went on a whole fucking 23-minute tangent about what you were not going to say. I have to be direct and ask the question. Would you pay $750 for an RM? Let me finish the question, because you get too excited. $750. Think of the leather. Think that you're never going to have to do anything to this. You know how lazy you and I are both. Joey does a little bit more than we do. Knowing how lazy you are, you don't want it. You want it now, and it's done. Can you justify that $750?
No, I want it right. Right? So I can't justify paying $750 because all I can do is hit up Nawaz, and Nawaz will give me my shit when he says he's going to give me my shit. I can buy plates from Nawaz for $300. I can send my plates to AJ or Ace or whoever I want to get it re-leathered by for another $250, $300, and I just saved $150 off of Orm with American leather.
$1,850?
Yep.
Yes, $1,850, bro. SD AEW.
My God. $1,850. Look, I'm gonna be the first to tell you. Look, me and Orm have had our differences, but I think he makes a wonderful belt. But I am struggling to. Again, you have Nawaz, Ethan. Throw me a price tag for a re-leather in America.
Anywhere from $250 to $325, and your $325s are going to be your Romeos and your very, very high.
It's gonna be around $350.
Joey, how much would Nawaz give you just plates for this?
300.
So now you're looking at how much? What's the total?
So I
$650.
send mine to CBC, so that's like $350. So I'm looking at $650. So I save $100. And I bet you I can get both of them, the plates and the American leather, quicker than Orm's wait times.
And he does make a beautiful belt. There's nothing to take away him from that. I mean, he is, at the end of the day, number one.
Well, that's one thing I love. I love the logo plate tool.
Oh,
yeah, but part of it is what's been transpired in the hobby is like, I don't care who does your artwork. I'll never buy another belt.
I like that, Felix. So here's the thing. Like I have to say, because I've had numerous belts from him, that's the best leather you're going to get in Pakistan. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you so because I will fight you to the end of fucking time to that. Because let me tell you something. I have a Classic Shields HD AEW with some stoning. Contact Richard Simpson for your side plates and stoning purposes. He does great work. Fantastic work he does. But in all seriousness, honestly, I love Classic Shields. I'm happy with their leather. But they don't touch the arm and the leather. They don't. I'm trying to be a devil's advocate here. I literally have had an issue with Omi, and I am telling you, I am literally giving you my honest opinion
So
of it.
why is it different? Why is it better?
Baby, have you ever been draped by some leather?
Yeah,
Have
now
you
I'm
ever
gonna.
been draped by
So
some
you
leather?
have leather that is too soft because I have Omis that are harder to display than I have classic shields. If you have a too soft of a grade of leather, it's generally a furniture leather or some other type of leather.
Now,
Granted,
here's
it's
the thing.
soft, it's smooth as a baby's butt.
I am not saying classic shoes leather is bad at all. I am happy.
Well-
I am happy with this belt. It's going in the DTOF. Joseph, go
My
ahead.
arm belt doesn't need a stand to sit in the DTOF. It sits up perfect. So
So here's the thing.
it's floppy.
I haven't. I'm tearing at the middle because again, can you justify 700? Jameson, would you justify $750 for this, knowing the other options that you have?
Hell no.
Joseph, would you?
No, you knock $150 to $200 off that price, then yeah.
Ethan, be nice. Same question.
Nope.
He does a decent belt, but again, I can't. I'm to the point that I can't justify the $750. But he's never gonna scam you. That's number one. He's never gonna take your money and not deliver. He has done some questionable shit, and I trust the people I know. Right? I'm not gonna name names until that person comes on here, but I trust the people. And this is one of the people that I have, just with the interactions I've had with just who he is as a person, I trust 100% that there is some issues here that need to be fixed.
But market dictates a lot, right?
That is true.
And
Preacher
at a
Tuesday,
seven,
go ahead.
market dictates a lot, but at a $750 price point, I'm not going to name makers right now, but there are makers that are doing HD for like $950 right now that are doing fucking phenomenal work.
That is
So
true, Russell Pitts.
where's the? I'll go get an HD from that maker. I'm good.
That is true. Stamp right burnish and doesn't peel, at least with his new. That's the thing. Classic Shields has done great work with me. And Richard has that big that Richard comes up. Listen, Richard, the W's, I just realized I paid Richard Simpson to paint my WWE United States. I never sent it to him like a year ago. I need to stop.
But I will say this: CS has, I've heard, they have new leather, so
Yes,
I can't wait to see what that is like.
My 91 to 94 will be on it.
You know something? I have a Jameson between you and us here, between you and me here. I think Ethan has a culture shock type of chat with Classic Shields, and he's not telling me because Ethan knows a little too much of the shit that's going on backstage at Classic Shields. And
You just pay attention.
The final, I mean, Reggie Parks.
Woo!
I have to agree with Richard, and I got cut off a little bit earlier, but the WWE United States, when people were saying that it was hollowed, like it needs to be hollow, and I have to agree with Richard here when it comes to the leather. There are certain plates, and Ethan, you have gotten all kinds of belts. You know that there are certain, like if you get a standard FanDuel belt, you know that shit ain't gonna stand up by itself.
Terrible.
Right? So
Terrible.
you who has had how many? You got like 34 winged eagles. Which maker do you think has laid it right where you could just sit it on itself, no stand at all, and it's gonna do just fine?
See, that's the loaded question because with the exception of Classic Shields has been pretty consistent in their leather. Like they'll go through stages of like they upgrade. Like I've had arm belts that the leather peeled. I've had arm belts where the stamp boxes are hand tooled and the leather was phenomenal. I've had arm belts where the snap boxes are stamped. Nawaz belts that are the leather's great. Nawaz belts that the leather's so I mean it's so spotty.
So this one from Reggie Parks sold the last time was on Bell Talk. It sold for $5,500. Jameson, what can you buy for $5,500 down in the great state of Georgia?
My car.
Nice. What kind of car you got?
The whole city, the whole state.
You got a Civic? 4-door, 2-door?
4-door.
Nice.
4-door more horse.
So, Ethan, $5,500 for a licensed Reggie. Would you hit it?
Yeah, I would. 100%.
Joey, would you?
Oh yeah, if I had the money, hell yeah, I would.
Jameson, if you had the money for an original Reggie Parks 91 or 93, would you?
No.
You still go with the shop, Jameson?
I wouldn't go with shop. What was the one before Omi?
Nawaz.
Nawaz seemed pretty good.
You go with a Nawaz?
Yeah,
I ain't gonna argue that. So apparently there was 5 or so WCW. And Richard, I have to agree with you here. Again, I am a big believer in the shop. Belt's ugly. Richard, come on, man.
Bro, your stones are ugly.
Hey,
I can't say that with
no,
a straight
they're not.
face.
That's not true.
I can't even say that with a straight face, bro. His stones are so good.
You know my cat has been chilling here the whole fucking time. Look at the son of a bitch. Look at him.
Dude,
He's
my
just
dog
chilling
is
here.
itching to come over here, bro.
Look at Tiger Zord, bro.
What is that cat laying on?
He's laying on the couch. He's chilling. He's vibing.
Man, I'm surprised that couch hasn't broke yet.
So listen, man, this is insane, bro. I mean, I think and Richard does fantastic work with his stones. I mean, every time the light hits it, this thing is amazing. And before I bring Rob back on here to go over our overtime topic, here's Sting with the WCW 91 and 94 years later. You know, it's amazing.
Is that the original or
That's the original.
Yeah, it's missing the logo plate.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
It is.
Joey, you were the one that sent that to us. Did Milliken say what happened to the logo plate?
Well, you know, when Ron Simmons especially Vader, when Vader had the belt, I mean, there was only one WCW 91 and 94 during that time. You know how, like, when they have, like, Winged Eagles, tags, and Intercontinentals, there's probably, like, 10, 15, 20 Winged Eagles that were used on TV. There was only one WCW one. And, I mean, it got beat to shit. It still has the belt tip with the WCW champion, but the logo plate, I mean, the belt was so beat up. It started as gold. And when Flair won in 93 at Starrcade, I mean, it looked silver, basically.
So, I mean, they really beat the shit out of this belt.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I'm going to ask each member to pick their belt. Which one will they take from the list we provided? But before I do that, let me bring on Mr. Rob Staniloff. Rob, welcome back.
Thank you.
Got the strap. My friend, which belt would you take out of the ones that we have presented here? And I'm pretty sure your answer will be aligned with mine. So go ahead.
So, well, Fig Zinc, of course.
Oh, the way the original. Do you know I should have put it in here, but I didn't. There's the 4mm version of it, the Ultra Deluxe. It was on sale for like $500 the other day on Bell Talk. And I was very, very disappointed that someone picked it up, like literally that. And it speaks to what you and I were talking to earlier, how quickly these belts can go for sale, right? And Ethan, you don't have to crap on me. Go ahead. Which belt would you take?
Well, if money wasn't a factor, Reggie all day.
Joey?
Money wasn't a factor. I'd take the Reggie, but if it was, I'm going Nawaz.
And Jameson, final thoughts of all these belts together. Which one would you take?
Well, before you do that, when I heard you say you're bringing Sting on with a WCW belt, I thought you were going to pull up a picture of me from Halloween last year.
I would have done that if you had the WCW 91 or 94, baby.
I don't have that. I got the big gold. Close enough for me. My friends don't know this. But I'm going Nawaz.
Nawaz. Okay. So now, final segment here on overtime. I have to ask. There is a issue going on in the WWE. When they first built this WrestleMania main event, Rob, they built it as a title for title match. Now, us who are hip to the game, like Brian Allen likes to say, us that are hip to the game, we know title for title is different than unification, right? We know title for title is the Becky Lynch situation, what I like to call it, where she became Becky Two Belts and defended each one, on its own merits. Do you believe that there is a new belt coming if this unification match obviously is going to go through? Do you think there's a new belt coming?
Yeah, actually, I do. I think there is. I mean, I know that Bret Hart was. He actually thinks that those belts are pieces of crap, and you know what? They kind of
The
are.
current network logos.
The current network logo,
Yeah.
he does.
Mm-hmm.
He thinks that they're pieces of crap. I think that there is something in the works with respect to a newer belt, and it's something that's not going to look like these. It's something that's going to be totally different, I think.
Okay. Ethan, the spinner, please stop fucking booting spinners. Like, literally, I don't understand why I have to say this shit over and fucking over again. I saw this shit the other day. It needs to fucking stop. It literally needs to stop. I'm sorry. I know that I get overworked with this shit. Jones has been working with me on my breathing. Bro, stop this shit. Stop booting fucking spinners. When you're paying $350, $450 for a fucking spinner from Pakistan and it looks like shit, go to the fucking shop, for fuck's sake. I'm with Vinny. I'm with Vinny in his pool. We're snuggling. We're holding each other and we're just floating in the pool. I am okay. I am one. Ethan Thompson, will you? Go ahead, answer the question. I mean, I won't freaking ask the question.
Well, I'll just say that I have no hope that the WWE is going to do anything fucking intelligent with the belt.
Why?
If they do anything, it's going to be a bigger fucking version of the piece of trash they have now.
Bro, is it a fucking booted spinner? Yo, Richard, stop fucking playing games, bro. How many?
Is that a Reese Stone spinner already, Richard? Slide me inbox.
I know, bro. I'm trying to be a better person, John. I've aligned myself with Rob and Max.
You need some of
kind
that
of
sage.
cool that they do yoga and all that
sage, man.
shit.
Yeah, when's the last time you witchcraft your
Oh,
house?
I gotta sage the crib too, bro. That's what's happened. I haven't saged
Shaking
the crib
my
in a
head.
while. But Joey, same question to you, my friend.
Well, now that Cody Rhodes is with WWE,
Is that confirmed?
Yeah, they confirmed it. He signed.
Okay.
I guess he signed 10 to 14 days ago. So, I hope they do a new belt, but if they don't, you're going to see Tribal Chief 2 belts.
Which is dumb.
No, it ain't.
It's just dumb.
Bow down to your Tribal Chief.
Hey, you know me. I love me some Roman. And
Ultimate
I know
Warrior couldn't even
Bob
hold
loves
Roman's
loves his Roman Reigns too. You know,
Yeah.
that was the big thing. Me and Andy Bolger used to have in the past. That we loved, a Roman together, and it was always, acknowledge your tribal chief. Jameson, you tell me, bro. Go ahead. Do you think they're gonna come? They're gonna come with a new belt, Jameson?
A bigger W.
So you're not, and I know you're laughing at it but it's Rob. You and I are big on figs. How much money do you think, just ballpark in your head? You know very well, how much does that spinner sell? The replicas, because there's a reason why it stood around for so much, right?
Yeah, I mean that's exactly it. I mean they sold for a decent profit. Absolutely, those fixed spinners. I mean even like the U.S. spinner. I know it's not the championship, but that US V2 spinner. I mean I paid a shit ton of money for that one. I mean absolutely. So, I mean if they're going to introduce a belt, they just want a cash grab. I think that's all it is.
And here's the thing: when you look at a belt, let's give an example. And Rob, I'm going to throw this to you first. When you saw the Undisputed Championship, when Brock had it, when Rock had it, when Undertaker had it, it was a small scratch logo on top, right? Yeah. Marketing, that's a big different thing when you have a big W on it, because it's associated right away with World Wrestling Entertainment. So do you think that's probably one of the reasons why the spinner stood so long? Why I'm not hopeful about the new belt coming, if they have a new belt, because they could easily just do the 2-belt thing. But do you think that it's the marketing and the business side of it takes over the storyline?
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're just again, cash grab. Maybe they're just going to bring that back. Who knows? That's exactly it.
God, and it's such a sad thing. It really is. Ethan, if they bring out a new belt, what would you like to see?
I love for them to, at this point, if they can go back to the big gold or anything at this point is better than what they have. Their belts are literally the worst belts in professional wrestling.
You don't have to say it that badly. Joseph, what do you think?
I take the winged eagle with the WWE logo up top.
Yeah. Rob, what would you have if they came? Would you come with a new design or would you go to the past? Because Ethan's stuck in the 80s, Ultimate Warrior. He doesn't understand that Ultimate Warrior is gone. But
I'll take the big gold.
Yeah, actually, I agree with Ethan. I take the big gold.
It's such a prestigious belt, isn't it?
I take the big gold. I take something in the past because right now these belts, I mean, yeah, I've got them. I'm sorry. But, I mean, I'm not going to say the F-bomb because you got so many F-bombs on here. But
we're at 21 right now. So we got 21.
Yeah, so you know what?
Go ahead, Rob.
Like their ass. I totally agree with Ethan. They should maybe go back to the big gold.
Yeah. Jameson, what do you think? Do you think would you like to see a new design or them go back to something different?
I think bring back the Undisputed, but
you're like me. You're a ruthless aggression kid. I love it.
Differently, like mess around with it a little bit, try to make it a little new age, I guess, but don't put a gigantic W on it. Maybe I don't have one. Maybe towards the middle one would be cool. You know?
Yeah, and I'm hopeful that they come back. I mean, remember the IWGP V3 was supposed to be the WWE Championship, and Vince McMahon said no, and stuck with the spinner. So big gold with the network logo. I don't know how I feel about that. It's a conversation to be had.
It would sell on the shop. It would sell on the shop.
It will definitely sell on the shop. So, gentlemen, thank you so much for being on here with me. Rob Staniloff, you are doing positive work in this hobby. If you need anything from any of us, please let us know, my friend, because we wanna keep being a positive force in this hobby, and you are the head of this. You are pushing it, and I think you're doing magnificent work. I'm gonna try and have Casey on the show as well, because I used to watch his videos as well, and I just want to tell you from all of us here at Culture Shock, we appreciate the positive stuff that you're happening, that you're doing, and if you need us to bribe you to get Joey a Hall of Fame induction, you please let us know, and we'll make it work. Okay?
I appreciate that. Thanks, guys. You guys, again, a lot of respect for all of you, and I appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Ethan Thompson. You are a gem. Joseph Atanza, you complete me. Jameson, look at you, bro. You've knocked it out the park today, my friend. You definitely will be back in the future for Get the Strap. Any final words from you, Jameson?
Tune in.
Life is like a box of chocolates.
Tune in this weekend on Pods That Rock. It's going to get very hot because me and my friend Big Nick do the Hot Ones challenge that I found at Walmart. But with an added very hot ending to it, my friend bought a special little jar from Kentucky when they unfortunately had a family member pass away. And it may or may not have caused a lot of bodily harm to both of us.
We need to watch that. And Jameson, I am thinking of moving down to North Carolina. One of the first things I'm going to do is when I get settled down there is go visit you and have, hang out with you, because you're just a good guy, Jameson. I do really appreciate you. Gentlemen, thank you so much. Again, Rob, if you want to join the Belt Addicts Anonymous, make sure to do so. Answer the damn questions so you don't get kicked out like Joey did. And make sure you watch the Over the Shoulder podcast. Ethan Thompson, Joe Vatanza, Jameson Bennett with the Pods That Rock. Thank you so much for being on. And now I'm going to address the folks. Oh, the 91 and 94. No, 91. Yeah, 91 and 94. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Mark Thomas, this is something I want to talk. Whatever happened to the big old 3D? Yes, you are correct. I'm waiting for that shit too. I really am waiting for that shit too. I learned Buddha spinners make Jay's blooper. Bro, you have no fucking idea. You know what's the problem? It's that there is no need for it. I understand if you want an IWGP V3. If you're like Ethan and won 38 different versions of a Winged Eagle, that's perfectly fine. If you're like Joseph Townsend, you can't get over the stacked belt tip. I understand. But if you can't get a belt that you want, I understand. But there's a perfect belt in the shop. The spin. I'm in a pool with Vinny Vegas in Florida, floating in paradise. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate each and every one of you. Next week, I am not going to announce it. I'm going to let Mr. Vinny Vegas do that. I'm very excited about next week's show. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, always go shop if you've never bought a belt before. And get your sage. That's right. Sage the crib. Sage the crib. If you sage your house, you won't have any more fucking problems. Okay? Please, I beg you, be decent to each other. It doesn't take that much. It doesn't cost you anything to be a decent person. If you see a new person who has no idea what to buy, how to purchase, what questions to ask, don't be a dick, because we all been there. We've all been there. And I will always put a comment, and I will always stand up for those people who get shitted on for asking questions that anyone would ask if they were new, because all of us were new at one point. We were all new. Vinny Vegas was new. Ethan Thompson, who knows? Ethan Thompson, Joey Vitanza, who know, again, shit about belts I had no idea fucking even existed. You know, new guys like Jameson, who goes from, you know, one hobby to the other. Rob, who has become an expert. We all came in as a part of this hobby as someone brand new. And I just hope that people can look back and say, I remember when I didn't have the knowledge that I needed to have, and someone was there to tell me what I needed to do to ensure that I buy what I needed to buy, what I wanted, and what's going to give me the best for my buck. So next week, Mr. Vinny Vegas is going to have a very, very, very wonderful show. I'm not going to announce it here. It's not my place to do so. Thank you so much. And like the good friends at True Crime Garage say, be kind to each other. Don't litter. Take care. Bye-bye.